Alaska is so big, you could fit California, Texas, and Montana inside it and still have room left over. But despite all that land, it has fewer people than Rhode Island. The truth is, Alaska isn't just large. It's far away, rough around the edges, and wild to the core. There's just something about it, raw, untamed, and deeply beautiful. A place is like nowhere else, breathtaking, and leaves you mesmerized. Here, roads end, mountains rise, and the land stretches farther than the eye can see. This isn't just a cold state, it's a whole different world. In this video, we'll explore the incredible geography facts of Alaska and why it's one of the most unique places on Earth. Fact 1. Alaska's tallest mountains. Alaska is home to 17 of the 20 tallest mountains in the entire United States. These giants are part of several mountain ranges, including the Alaska Range, the Wrangell Mountains, and the St. Elias Mountains. The tallest of them all is Denali, which stands at 20,310 feet above sea level. So high, it's taller than any mountain in North America. Denali is so massive, it actually sticks up above most of the atmosphere, where the air is thin and freezing cold. Pilots who fly near it often have to adjust their routes because the mountain is so high it creates its own weather system, with snow and clouds swirling just around the peak. The name Denali comes from Alaska's native peoples. It means the Great One or the Tall One. At least 9 Alaska native groups, including the Koyukon Athabaskan people, have used different names that all mean something similar. For them, Denali isn't just a mountain, it's a powerful presence, full of meaning, and part of their culture and stories. Fact 2. Alaska's volcanoes. When people think of Alaska, they usually picture snow, glaciers, and ice. But Alaska is also one of the most volcanic places on Earth. It has over 130 volcanoes and volcanic fields, more than any other state in the US. Many of them are still active today, especially in a region called the Aleutian Arc, where 2 tectonic plates meet and grind together deep underground. This area is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a zone known for earthquakes and eruptions that circles the Pacific Ocean. Some of Alaska's volcanoes erupt quietly every few years, shooting ash into the sky and sometimes affecting flights between North America and Asia. The U.S. Geological Survey even watches volcanoes like Mount Spur, which scientists believe could erupt again at any time. Most of these eruptions don't destroy cities. They help shape the land by building new mountains and islands. Fact 3. Over 3 million lakes and 3,000 rivers. Alaska has an enormous amount of fresh water, more than 3,000 rivers, and around 3.5 million lakes, the most of any state in the U.S. These lakes come in all shapes and sizes, from small glacial ponds to massive inland seas. The largest, Lake Iliamna, covers over 1,000 square miles, making it the biggest lake in Alaska and one of the largest in North America. Most of these lakes were created during the last ice age, when slow-moving glaciers scraped deep basins into the land. As the glaciers melted, the water filled those empty spaces, forming millions of natural lakes across the state. Many are located in remote, roadless regions and can only be accessed by float plane or snow machine. These waters are incredibly important, not just for their beauty, but for life itself. They serve as critical habitats for wildlife, especially sockeye salmon, which spawn in lakes and rivers every year and support both native and commercial fisheries. Some lakes even act as seasonal highways, freezing over in winter so that snowmobiles and small trucks can cross them to reach isolated villages. In a state where roads are few and far between, Alaska's rivers and lakes are not just part of the scenery, they are a vital part of the state's transportation, economy, and survival. Fact 4. Over 34,000 miles of coastline. One of Alaska's most surprising features is just how much coastline it has, over 34,000 miles, which is more than the rest of the United States combined. This includes not only the mainland shores, but also the countless islands, peninsulas, and winding inlets spread across the state. The next closest state is Florida, with about 8,400 miles, but that's only a quarter of what Alaska has. Alaska's coastline touches 3 different seas: the Pacific Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, and the Bering Sea, giving it a maritime variety you won't find anywhere else in the U.S. Along these coasts, you'll find everything from temperate rainforests near Juneau to icy frozen shores in the far north. These waters have supported Native Alaskan communities for thousands of years, offering whales, seals, salmon, and shellfish that remain vital today. Modern industries like fishing, shipping, and tourism still depend on these vast coastal zones. Yet much of the shoreline remains wild, remote, and untouched, giving Alaska a rugged seafaring identity that's totally unique. Fact 5. Most U.S. glaciers are in Alaska. Alaska is home to most of the glaciers in the entire United States by a long shot. According to detailed surveys, there are about 27,000 named glaciers, but scientists estimate the true number is likely over 100,000. These glaciers cover around 5% of Alaska's land area, making it the most ice-covered state in the country. Some, like the Mendenhall Glacier near Juneau, are easy to visit and draw thousands of tourists every year. Others, like the Hubbard Glacier, are still growing, slowly pushing forward into the sea, a rare sight in today's warming world. But glaciers aren't just frozen rivers. They shape valleys, store fresh water, and influence local weather and global sea levels. Deep inside the ice, scientists can study air bubbles trapped for thousands of years, offering clues to Earth's ancient climate. Sadly, many Alaskan glaciers are melting faster than ever due to climate change, retreating year by year. In Alaska, glaciers aren't just part of the scenery. They're active, powerful forces that reveal both the past and the future of our planet. Fact 6. Earthquakes. Alaska is the most seismically active state in the entire U.S. In the past 5 years alone, the Alaska Earthquake Center recorded over 150,000 earthquakes, including 31 major ones, with magnitudes of 6.0 or higher. Many people assume California has the most quakes, but in fact, Alaska experiences more earthquakes than all the other U.S. states combined. That's because the state sits on the edge of several massive tectonic plates, which are constantly shifting and grinding beneath the surface. On average, Alaska feels more than 20,000 earthquakes every year. The biggest one in recorded U.S. history struck here in 1964, a magnitude 9.2 earthquake that rocked south-central Alaska, triggered deadly tsunamis, and permanently reshaped the land. It was the second strongest earthquake ever recorded in the world. Most of Alaska's earthquakes today happen far from cities, or are so small they're barely felt. Fact 7. 2 largest national forests. Alaska is home to the 2 largest national forests in the United States. The Tongass National Forest, in southeast Alaska, spans about 16.7 million acres, making it the biggest by far. It's a temperate rainforest, one of the rarest ecosystems on Earth, and holds some of the oldest and tallest trees in the country. The second is the Chugach National Forest, covering 5.4 million acres along the coast near Anchorage and the Kenai Peninsula. Together, these forests account for more than 20% of all national forest land in the U.S. They're not just trees, they include glaciers, rivers, mountains, and miles of coastline. These lands support major wildlife habitats, including bears, bald eagles, moose, and wild salmon. They're also essential to local subsistence hunting, fishing, and Alaska Native communities. Fact 8 to 1 person per square mile. Alaska is the largest state in the country, but it has the fewest people per square mile, just 1 person for every square mile of land. That makes it the lowest population density of any U.S. state by far. For comparison, if Manhattan had the same density as Alaska, only 16 people would live on the entire island. Most Alaskans live in just a few places like Anchorage, Fairbanks, and Juneau, while the rest of the state is nearly empty. This extreme space means there are no traffic jams, no urban sprawl, and plenty of land that feels untouched by humans. But it also means that basic services like roads, hospitals, and stores can be far apart, especially in remote areas. Some communities can only be reached by boat, plane, or snowmobile, even today. In Alaska, it's not unusual to be completely surrounded by wilderness, with no neighbors for miles. Fact 9. Alaska is only 2.4 miles from Russia. At the narrowest point, the Bering Strait between mainland Alaska and Russia is just 55 miles wide. But what really surprises people is that at their closest points, Little Diomede Island and Big Diomede Island, the 2 countries are only 2.4 miles apart. These islands once played a quiet role in Cold War tensions. Their closeness also reminds us that Alaska was once part of Russia until the U.S. bought it in 1867 for $7.2 million. The deal was mocked at the time, but now it's seen as a bargain. Alaska's natural resources alone are worth billions. Fact 10. The coldest temperature in U.S. history. The coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States was 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and it happened in Prospect Creek, Alaska, in 1971. That kind of cold can freeze exposed skin in seconds, and it's not even unusual in Alaska's far north. Alaska is the only U.S. state that sits inside the Arctic Circle, and places like Utqiagvik experience months of total darkness in winter and months of non-stop daylight in summer. In winter, temperatures in northern towns regularly drop to 30 degrees Fahrenheit or lower, with wind chills that can feel much colder. But this extreme Arctic climate is also changing faster than anywhere else on Earth. Temperatures in Alaska's Arctic are rising at twice the global average, causing sea ice to vanish, coastlines to erode, and wildlife patterns to shift. Some entire villages, like Shishmaref and Kivalina, are facing relocation as their land disappears into the sea. At the same time, warming is opening new shipping lanes and energy access, drawing global interest to this once isolated region. Fact 11. Alaska is bigger than you think. At over 663,000 square miles, Alaska is larger than Texas, California, and Montana combined. If Alaska were a country, it would rank as the 17th largest in the world, sitting between Iran and Libya in size. This enormous area holds every kind of terrain: icy coastlines, towering mountain ranges, endless tundra, and dense boreal forests. But size comes with challenges. Many towns and villages are hundreds of miles apart, and some can only be reached by plane or boat. Fact 12. The world's most extreme tides. Just outside Anchorage, Alaska's largest city, lies a narrow body of water called the Turnagain Arm. Here, you'll find some of the highest tides in the world, with water levels rising and falling as much as 40 feet between low and high tide. This happens because the inlet is narrow and shallow, which funnels the ocean water into a tight space and amplifies the rise and fall. Some waves can reach 10 feet high and move at 15 miles per hour. This natural force is rare in the US, and Turnagain Arm is one of the few places in the world where you can see it. During low tide, the water pulls back to reveal massive mudflats made of soft, sticky, glacial silt called muck. It might look like regular sand, but it's more like quicksand and dangerous to walk on, especially near the water. These massive tidal shifts aren't just cool to watch, they reshape the coastline. Fact 13. Alaska sits on frozen ground. Beneath the surface of most of Alaska lies something called permafrost. This frozen layer can be just a few feet thick or stretch hundreds of feet deep, depending on the region. It covers about 85% of the state, making it one of the largest areas of permafrost in the world. But climate change is causing some of that frozen ground to melt, and the effects are dramatic. When permafrost thaws, it can cause the land to sink, crack, or tilt, damaging roads and buildings. In some forests, trees start leaning in every direction as the ground beneath them softens, a strange sight known as a drunken forest. Melting permafrost can also release methane and carbon dioxide, powerful greenhouse gases trapped in the frozen soil for thousands of years. Fact 14. Most of the year has northern lights. One of the best places in the world to see the northern lights is right here in Alaska. In places like Fairbanks, the aurora borealis is visible for up to 240 nights a year. That's about 2/3 of the entire year. The season typically runs from mid-August to mid-April, when the skies are dark enough for the lights to appear. Many people travel thousands of miles just to witness this natural show, and Alaska offers some of the most reliable viewing anywhere. You don't need a telescope or any equipment, just a warm coat and a little patience. And thanks to its location near the magnetic pole, Alaska's skies light up in ways most of the world will never experience. Fact 15. Alaska is 14.2% water. When it comes to water, no state comes close to Alaska. It holds around 94,743 square miles of water, which is more than the entire land area of Oregon. That includes over 12,000 rivers, about 3 million lakes larger than 5 acres, and countless ponds, creeks, and wetlands. Altogether, More than 14% of Alaska's total area is covered in water, far more than any other state. This massive amount of water plays a key role in Alaska's ecosystems, climate, and daily life. Freshwater systems support millions of fish, especially salmon, and are a lifeline for both wildlife and people. In many remote areas, these waters replace roads, acting as natural travel routes by boat in summer and by snow machine when frozen in winter. Alaska really is something else. From its giant mountains and quiet lakes to the volcanoes and all that coastline, there's just no place like it. It's wild, it's beautiful, and it keeps changing. Thanks so much for watching and spending a little time with us today. And if there's another place you'd like us to explore next, go ahead and drop it in the comments. We've got more to explore next time, so make sure to come back. See you in the next one.